G'day guys, and welcome to another Air Combat Tips video. Today I want to talk about defensive flying and what to do when an enemy plane gets on your tail, and I've got a really nice dogfight to show you as an example. So first we'll watch the fight through, then we'll go back over it and explain what worked, what didn't and why. As usual, we'll have a quick look at the aircraft stats. You can pause now if you want to have a read. Both are pretty decent aircraft with similar performance and armament, which always makes for a good fight. So the Yak-3 doesn't carry any bombs, so the pilot was cruising at a high altitude off to the side of the capture zone. You can see me just coming over the hills there after I spawn, and as I approach the point, he'll be well positioned to jump onto my tail. And now from my perspective, I was extremely lucky to notice him as I spawned in. I actually thought it was some kind of glitched bomber or transport plane until I saw him turn. I did a quick check to confirm it wasn't a friendly aircraft, and that's when I knew I would soon have an enemy plane to deal with. I tried to act like I was unaware of his presence as I dropped my bombs, so I could take him by surprise at the opening of this fight. And from here I would use what I call long-range defensive maneuvers. I'm going to keep my flaps up and speed high, and I'm just going to keep moving around him and denying him a shot. I'm also going to be working at closing the distance between us and waiting for the opportunity to force him to overshoot. As the distance between us closes, I switch to close range defense and start using my flaps to reduce my speed and really tighten my turns, which is going to help with setting up an overshoot. As we come out of this turn, I see he is positioning to take a shot, which will be the perfect time to counter when he misses. And when he does, I'll use a rolling scissor type maneuver to pull onto his tail. From here, it's up to me now to make sure that I stay behind him, and when he reverses out in front of me like this, I take the opportunity to put a few shots on him. When he gets hit, he goes into some evasive gun defense, which is him flying in an erratic style, making it harder for me to hit him. But I just need to be patient and wait until he either starts flying predictably, or I close the distance between us and can take my shots more confidently. And as I close in, I manage to land a decent amount and bring him down. So I'll take you back now and we'll run through the fight, and I'll let you know what I was doing at key stages to work up to forcing that overshoot. So coming into the point, I knew that my main priority was to get rid of my bombs to lighten the plane and improve its handling, and then I have to turn and face my opponent. But given that he is slightly ahead of me, there's a good chance that I'll turn directly into his guns and give him an easy kill. So I decided to fly straight for a short distance so that he was positioned more behind me before committing to the turn. And I did that in the hope that I can force him into a situation where he's more likely to overshoot and put himself out of position. But as you see here, I didn't quite get far enough in front, and when I start the turn, he's able to get his guns on me early. Now this is a really important point in the fight, and a great opportunity to let you guys know a little trick. If we look at my opponent's point of view at this moment, we can see that I'm out in front of him, and if he wants to bring his guns onto me to take a shot, he needs to put his gun sight over the lead indicator, which would be about here. If he were to do this, you can see that I am temporarily covered by the nose of his aircraft and hidden from his view. I know this is about to happen, and he won't be able to see me for a split second, so I use that opportunity to roll to the side and pull up out of his bullet's path. And when we switch back to my view, you can see that I'm able to avoid his shots and still get a little bit of overshoot. And now I'm just trying to avoid his guns and continue to work at bringing him closer. I'm trying my hardest to roll my aircraft here, but it's just rolling very slowly. And this is the point where I first deploy my flaps and transition from long range into short range defense. In the long range defense, it's more about keeping my speed high and my flaps retracted to make myself harder to hit and gain a good position for the initial merge. Once merged, I switch to using out-of-plane maneuvers and start managing my flaps, throttle and my aircraft's pitch to reduce speed and try to force him out of position, or to overshoot. And if you want some more detail about this type of thing, I'll make a follow-up video with more specific examples. Now at this point here, I recognise there is a chance to force my opponent to overshoot, but to do that I have to cross his nose briefly, which is risky, but I'm going to do two things to help me survive. The first is to roll and level my wings, which you will see creates a much smaller profile, making it harder for him to hit me. The second is I'm actually pressing forward on the stick and pushing the nose of the aircraft down so that I'm changing angles briefly while I cross in front of him. This makes my position more unpredictable and his shots even harder to hit. Doing these two things is key though, as it sets me up perfectly to take advantage of his overshoot. And you'll see that I drop flaps and throttle briefly to make sure that I end up in a good position on his tail. From here I raise flaps and go full throttle to close distance as he starts to climb, and when he comes out of this turn, I'm in position and ready to take my shot. At this point here, he turns away, but I really think the better move for him would have been to turn towards me and try to force me into an overshoot. But I also think it's possible that he may have lost sight of me, which is why he turned away. And with that, I need to make a point of how important it is to optimize your controls so you can always keep an eye on your opponent, and if you guys like, I can run through the changes that I made to my control setup to help me with that. And that's it for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up as it will help my channel to grow. If you like these tactics or want to add some of your own, feel free to add them in the comments so we can all learn from them together. I do have a lot of other videos planned, like how to use rolling scissors and how to manage your energy, as well as the videos on additional defensive maneuvers and how to optimize your controls like I mentioned earlier. I've also got some introductory videos planned for the new players, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see those. As always guys, thank you for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.